Today we're going to look at a few properties that are for sale, and we thought we'd take you guys along with us. We're going to kind of share our experience with buying property in Alaska. So the properties we're going to look at, they're pretty close to us. We didn't want something that was far away, and our plan with this property is to put a structure on it and turn around and sell it again. So we didn't want to be driving really far away just to go work on the place.
Okay, so like Eric said, we are interested in this option, and we are just in the preliminary stages of seeing if this will work for us.
We'll put links down in the description of how to actually find places that are for sale online in Alaska. We have about 5 that we're looking at today, and I kind of got them pre-mapped out, and we're gonna go just put eyes on them and see if there's something we're even interested in.
I wanted to tell a little bit about how Eric and I got to our particular cabin that we are at now. When we first knew that we wanted to move to Alaska, I think our first thing was to call a real estate agent once we had kind of like narrowed down where we wanted to live. But at that time, we didn't really understand how big Alaska was. So the overwhelming response we got from the real estate agents were, you know, I'm not gonna really be able to help you unless you really know the area you wanna live. And at that time, we weren't really set on that. So what we decided to do was book a flight, and we came to Alaska for a week. And we basically drove all around. We had already, again, narrowed down the areas we wanted to look at, but they were still, I mean, like the furthest being Talkeetna, and like the furthest north, and then the furthest south, let's say Homer. So those are really far away from each other. So we spent a really good amount of that time just driving around and just checking out places. We did have a few specific properties and houses that we were going to look at. They were incredibly difficult to find, and we only found about not even half of them. But that was a really good place for us to start, because then we knew, okay, we definitely do need to be on the road system, or we want to be on the road system. And during that trip, we did find our particular cabin that we're at now. So when we went back home, we contacted that real estate agent that actually had put that house for sale, and she was our real estate agent to help us get into that particular cabin. So although it was a pretty smooth process for us once we found the exact place, we were the ones to pursue it, and I think that you'll probably find that experience the same if you're buying rural in Alaska or outskirts, because you're gonna need to find the place kind of first and then go in with a plan of approach and have a realtor help you.
So this is a good example of what you're going to run into when you're looking for land. They're really hard to find. No one has addresses posted, and a lot of the times road names out here don't pull up on Google Maps, so they're kind of tricky to find.
Can I help you? Kasha window. That's legitimately Kasha window.
So we're on to the next one, and this is kind of good just to get out here and drive around and get lost out here, because you get to see the neighborhood.
It's winter season here, so there's quite a bit of snow on the ground, and that is actually a plus for us right now, because we want to buy a place, whether it be a lot or a cabin, we want it to be where the roads are maintained, so we're able to see which roads have been plowed and which ones aren't. So it's a good indicator, just so we know what it would be like in the winter if we were to buy a place out here.
All right, so we've been out here, let's see, this is about 40 minutes from our house, this area, which is a pretty big area, and then we've been in this area looking for 3 different places. Yeah, 3 different places, and it's taken us approximately 2 hours?
Yeah.
To find all 3 of these places. We did find all 3 of them. One of them was a no-go. We just ruled it out, we didn't like it, and 2 of the other properties we kind of liked. So we're pulled over here on the side of the highway, and we wanted to show you guys this really cool spring that's supposed to have the best drinking water in the area. And we always see people here filling up their water jugs for their dry cabins or whatnot. So we're just gonna fill up our water bottle, because that's all we need. How's it taste?
Oh, I hit my teeth. Very good. In Alaska, a lot of the people when you live further out, if you don't have a well or a spring, you know, you need to have a place to get water. And we have found a few places that are free, which is really cool. But just kind of have that in mind, because sometimes certain sources will freeze up in the winter. Thankfully, this one's not frozen.
Yeah, we've kind of noticed that people tend to help each other out when it comes to water. Some businesses like laundromats or gas stations, they'll have wells and they'll actually let you fill up pretty much as much water as you want for free. So if you're interested in buying something like that we bought, a dry cabin, it's gonna be kind of hard to get a conventional loan to buy something like that through a bank. So you're either gonna have to buy it cash, or you're gonna have to work out a deal with whoever's selling it and do owner finance. So there aren't a lot of big acreage lots for sale. Most of them have been bought up and then subdivided into like 5-acre lots, which isn't a big deal in Alaska because there's so much public land that you can use that a lot of these properties out here, you just hop on your quad or your snow machine and you can just head out and use public land. So you don't need a lot of land to have a really cool setup here. Okay, yesterday we ended up looking at 2 more properties when it started to get kind of dark, and we didn't like those ones, so we ruled those ones out. Today is day 2 and we are in Wasilla running errands, and we're going to be looking at 3 different properties in Big Lake. And Big Lake it's about 40 minutes south of where we live. All right, so we found the first one, and we didn't really care for the neighborhood, so we ruled that one out. And we are about to pull up to the second one. We're stuck behind the snowplow right now, but so far it's a pretty good neighborhood. So we're gonna see if we can find the place and take a look at it. Okay, so there's kind of pros and cons with this one. It's in a pretty decent area and it's a pretty good price. The thing that, only downside to it is there is an old, looks like a mobile home or modular home that would need to be torn down.
Shotgun drive. So one thing that's kind of cool about Alaska is that there's all these different like microclimates. So even within like one town, you know, if you're up a hill or down a hill, there's different terrain, which is cool. Where we live, it's mainly spruce trees, and I think there's willow trees, and it's kind of like the soil's boggy. But here, there's a lot of birch, so it's not as, I guess, private feeling, but it's still cool, just a different kind of area.
So this is the last place. This is 1 acre and looks pretty good so far. It's about $13,000 for an acre, and it's kind of out there, but it's still in a decently nice neighborhood.
This is one of the nicest areas we've been to in Big Lake, and it was the cheapest of the lots we looked at today.
All right, so out of all the properties we looked at, we ended up liking 3 of them. So we're gonna pursue those a little further. We're gonna contact our agent now and see if we can get some more info on them and go out and actually check them out a little better. And if we end up getting one or anything like that, we'll do another video on it and keep it posted.